Hi, my name is Samuel Dickinson and welcome to my EDB150 Assessment Task 3 video. This video will outline the marking and quality assurance processes I have had the opportunity to participate in during the EDB150 unit. The overall purpose of quality assurance is to ensure fair, consistent and defensible judgments about student achievement. Providing equitable and reliable quality assurance is achieved through establishing expectations, ensuring consistent understanding, comparing samples and feedback feed forward. These steps prove integral in guiding teacher judgments and will constantly be referred to throughout the video. I participated in a quality assurance activity where my group members and I marked 3 sample geography assignments on a Global City Issue magazine feature article using the given criteria. With my group members, expectations were established prior to individual sample marking and professional conduct and communication was discussed. Once this was determined, all group members individually marked the assessment samples based on the given criteria and standards. To ensure consistent understanding when comparing marked samples, formal and informal discussions prior to the meeting as a group took place on the task and criteria. An example of this is using the marking criteria to highlight qualities that differentiate between the A to E descriptors. Doing so allows the marker to understand what discriminates between each standard and what evidence is necessary in student work to be able to provide accurate judgments. This process also took place regularly when comparing samples as a group to ensure consistent understanding between all members on the accessible elements within the student work.
Just
To the next one, yeah.
our language that we're using when we're talking.
It's just about the criteria, it's not opinion and it's not.
And so let's make sure that we're not using words
I know
I
that.
think or I feel.
Yeah.
That's putting feeling into it. We
Yeah.
need to basically be marking against the criteria and the criteria.
Continuing on with the third step of quality assurance, as a group we compared samples and resolved ratings to reach a consensus on student achievement. In this phase of the process, we collaboratively discussed the marks we gave for each sample across the 4 different accessible domains. I think in terms of summarising like the whole document, if we go through the criteria and where we maybe exactly marked each point. So in terms of my knowledge and understanding, especially on the first page, she accurately locates the city and then she demonstrates what I believe is enough for physical and human features in the B standard.
Yep.
During the discussion, I was faced with providing evidence to my group members on the standards I awarded for the samples. I made constant reference to the criteria and evidence within the students' work in order to provide a fair and consistent position to justify my choice.
Some of them aren't
Some of
very
them are-
relevant, maybe, but
You say you had a C, Ash.
Yeah.
If on that note, if the student did do that, then that would potentially just move them straight up to an A because in the criteria it says very relevant visuals. So that's images, those sort of visuals would pretty much move it into that criteria. Whereas this student has just displayed their visuals and they're relevant for the feature, and it would be a B. If you look at the criteria again, it's accurate understanding of what there is, and there's 3, so that meets that criteria. If you move between the A and the C, so the C it's a basic understanding and it's accurate, but there's 2 features, and the student's work, if we look at it, has has 3.
yeah. And the student has shown pretty good
it's
insight.
accurate, yes, with the terms of that knowledge and understanding aspect.
So
yes, that's why
mid B for that one there.
yes.
So we're
I
going
have
for?
a mid.
Yeah.
Straight into knowledge and understanding. We could probably
Straight into
summarise all 3 points in saying that they're all. I've gone straight middle for all 3. There's a clear and accurate description of the location, comprehensive understanding of each part of that city through categorising each element and then giving lots of examples and explaining in significant detail the issue that is relevant as well. Since various differences and perspectives arose on the marks, points within the criteria were changed, which meant standards were adjusted accordingly.
At a C minus, or do we need to be changing that as well?
I think we've all gone in the criteria similar aspects for each point, and it's important that we adjusted the students' work from the discussion, but overall it still looks like a C minus from all our adjustments.
Yeah, mine's brought instead of it being like a little bit wider, I've brought it a little bit closer to the line of best fit.
So I think we've narrowed it down a bit as to where the individual's sitting. So C minus overall?
Yep.
Moving on.
Yes.
So what do we think about the visuals in this one, Cam?
I've got
a B.
Oh, I got a B as well.
Yep.
Which one's
all
the
the way
sport? The
through the
language?
decline.
Illustrating feature.
I've got a B.
Alrighty, and then
You can move straight into the next one with the visuals because there's no reference.
No
Source
on
no
the
source on each
bottom
image.
pictures. Yeah.
There are references obviously with some of the content, but I've gone a low C for that for that criteria
on the line
based on that information in the
For the bottom last one.
Yep.
Yeah, I've crossed between the two.
Yep.
So if we
So that's a straight
review research and communication, straight C overall.
Finally, within the feed-forward stage, my group members and I were able to reflect on the activity and its outcomes. Improving on my own teacher judgments meant personally reflecting on the quality assurance activity, which occurred even during the exercise to try and always refer back to the criteria and evidence in the actionable feedback which supports the standards. I think that goes on the point about her or the student trying to convey their message that they're getting across, but they're not trying to.
Well, it's the same thing on geography.
Trying to be concise, but it's just not at all.
Same on geography.
Throughout the group activity, comment was made regularly on improving the assessment task design, including criteria and standards. As part of the feed-forward process, this improves quality assurance for the future since elements can be identified which need to be adjusted for the future success of student learning.
Provided, or he or she.
So that's a good point to look at for adjusting.
So the wording and the criteria.
Yeah, the wording, because they've provided a solution. It could be like, provide a solution to increase the, your money. And it'd be like, rob a bank. There's a solution. It's not a good one, but it is a solution.
So wording that'll make it easier on us when marking to distinguish between the two marks.
Yes, correct.
Want to also note we've looked at the criteria so far just from one assignment and seen that there needs to be adjustments on what the points each evaluate. So that's important to note. Based on my professional experience this semester, I engaged in conversations and meetings on quality assurance at the school for the geography subject, which reveals similarities and differences to our quality assurance activity. In comparison to our own activity, the major similarities in the school were the importance of understanding the task and its criteria to be able to make fair judgments on student work. This was evident across all teachers as their experience in working with the unit content, which helps in understanding the criteria and its standards. Similarities still occur with differences in opinion between teachers as they have their own point of view regarding what constitutes evidence in student work. An important similarity for effective quality assurance is the constant reviewing of assessment tasks and criteria to identify what needs adjusting. This is also supported by the school's different process in reflecting on their curriculum implementation with reference to QCAA. In contrast, a major difference in the school is that teachers across different disciplines are required in marking student work, which makes it hard to establish expectations as teachers are located across different staff rooms and do not teach the same subject area. To a similar regard, maintaining consistent understanding differs to our activity in that informal discussion via email and in person occurs between teachers. These quality assurance processes in the school potentially impact on teacher judgment as consistent expectations and understanding is limited. In terms of comparing samples, marking in the school differs across different year levels, with senior classes marked by only one teacher and other year level teachers marking their own individual class. The teacher then provides samples of each achievement standard, A, B, C and D, with evidence to support the grade, then swapping samples with another class to cross-mark. If a consensus cannot be reached from the cross-marking, the head of department makes the final decision on the grade. The contrast in marking in comparing samples differs from our quality assurance activity, as we completed the cross-marking process as a group and with only 3 samples. The quality assurance process is an important part of teaching and assessment for a variety of reasons. Quality assurance is important because it provides a clear understanding and purpose for assessment to ensure fair, consistent and defensible judgments on student achievement. The steps outlined as part of the quality assurance process provide support for teacher judgments which formulate assessment which is necessary to meet targeted outcomes. Since assessment is targeted towards this, teachers are able to give consistent feedback to students on their achievement and provide defensible statements to parents by using evidence which relates to the task and criteria to justify educational outcomes. The teaching and learning cycle provides reasoning for the importance of quality assurance, as it acts as a crucial part in understanding backwards design. As proposed by McTeague and Wiggins in their Understanding by Design framework, backwards mapping involves 3 steps in identifying desired outcomes for the unit, determining what would be acceptable evidence of learning, then planning teaching and learning experiences based on adhering to these points. Assessment and quality assurance is essential to the backwards mapping process as it creates the opportunity to provide feedback to both students and teachers, with teachers able to reflect on practice and identify unit outcomes. Using this feed-forward process enables changes or adjustments to the unit task, criteria or standards when beginning the identification of desired outcomes as part of the backwards design. The attributes of quality assessment include validity, accessibility, and reliability, which are all achievable through the ongoing process of quality assurance in the teaching and learning model. Reflecting on teacher judgments and quality assurance to make assessment criteria and tasks more reliable and valid supports students in achieving acceptable evidence of the desired learning outcomes. This relates back to the importance of quality assurance in providing a clear understanding and purpose for assessment to ensure fair, consistent, and defensible judgments on student achievement. For my future practice, I will transfer my understanding from the QA activity into real-world context by providing effective teacher judgment through seeking guidance from peers about quality assurance during planning the unit, assessment, and reporting. For example, a major element I took out of the experience and what I will continue to use is the task and criteria to make consistent judgments on student work. Actionable feedback when marking will also help in providing evidence to the students I teach on how to improve. Implementing backwards mapping design as part of the teaching and learning cycle will help my teaching relate to assessment which is catered towards desired learning outcomes. Constantly reflecting on this process using feed forward will help in adjusting quality assurance processes and assessment to not only improve student learning, but improve my marking and overall teacher judgment. Example strategies are outlined which can help develop my consistency in teacher judgment in the real world. Especially for marking and quality assurance, the red highlighted points will help my judgments in constantly adjusting, reflecting, and improving the quality assurance I participate in, which helps me achieve the overall objective of education, to benefit the student learning of those I teach.